everybody. Happy Friday to you. I've been waiting all week long to say that. I'm Rob Evans. Welcome to Daybreak. Plus, we're breaking down all the news you may have missed overnight, and we are digging deep into what matters to you. Now, we begin with an update on the deadly 2018 apartment fire in San Marcos. 5 people were killed in that fire. These are the 5 people who lost their lives that day. Several others were badly hurt, and this morning charges are dropped against the man accused of starting that fire. Take a look at Jacoby Ferguson. That's him right there. This week, a Hays County grand jury did not indict him, saying there was not enough evidence. Some of those hurt in the fire talked to KVUE's Isabella Basco.
On July 20th, 2018, Zachary Sutterfield was asleep on his best friend's couch at the iconic village in San Marcos when he woke up to flames across his body.
I ran from the second story, jumped out of a window in the back room, and landed on the right side of my head.
Along with suffering a traumatic brain injury, the majority of Sutterfield's body was burned. The course of his life changed forever.
Learning how to walk again, feed myself, bathe independently, just driving independently, everything had to be relearned.
The fire killed 5 people: Haley Frizzell, Drew Estes, David Ortiz, James Miranda, and Belinda Moats. Authorities spent 5 years investigating the fire before they determined it was arson and spread rapidly due to an accelerant. Investigators determined the fire started on a mattress and connected Jacoby Ferguson to it, though he denied any knowledge of the mattress.
I think there was never going to be a right answer, but to find out that it was something as idiotic, frivolous.
Now that a Hays County jury has declined to indict Ferguson, saying there is not enough evidence, Sutterfield is feeling everything from anger to sadness.
We're back to square one as far as the investigation goes.
KVUE News reached out to Ferguson's attorney, who sent us a statement which says in part, "Grateful that the grand jury took the time to carefully review the facts of the case." For Cheryl Estes, who lost her son Drew, she's holding on to hope when it comes to finding answers.
It's been almost 7 years. And I really want some closure.
Hays County Criminal District Attorney Kelly Higgins says his office will continue to work with law enforcement to pursue the investigation. It is now 7:03 and taking a live look at the UT Austin campus, where demonstrators held a rally Thursday on the South Lawn in support of Palestine and free speech rights on campus. Student groups demanding UT stop what they call repression of student speech. They also called on the university to divest from weapons manufacturers they say are linked to Israeli military operations. A third demand involved creating what they called a sanctuary campus. They say this event happened after organizers felt censored when a previous protest was canceled. Here's one of the protesters. Take a listen.
This university has tried to muzzle our resistance. They cancel our events, suspend our organizations, and deploy police to suppress our speech. But we are here today. Yeah. Standing up and fighting back.
Now, we did reach out to the university for comment. A spokesperson shared a letter that warned the Palestine Solidarity Committee that it was under interim suspension. And consumers and businesses alike are feeling the uncertainty surrounding the economy. As ABC's Lionel Moise reports, a lot of people blaming President Donald Trump's trade war with China, as well as the lack of clarity about any ongoing negotiations.
This morning, conflicting accounts over whether the U.S. and China have started negotiations to end the trade war that's roiling the economy. Beijing saying no talks have been held, but President Trump saying this.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later.
Trump's 145% tariff on Chinese goods aimed at leveling the playing field for American companies has sent a shockwave of uncertainty across the global economy. The Financial Times reports the word recession has been used on 44% of corporate earnings calls, and less cargo is now heading to key ports on the West Coast as demand slows.
Less cargo will mean fewer jobs in and around our port, not just on the docks, but with truckers, warehouse folks, manufacturers, and those in the customs brokerage.
Other signs of economic uncertainty: home sales falling 5.9% last month, the worst March since 2022. Tractor Supply Company reports a drop in sales, warning there has been a notable increase in uncertainty. Procter & Gamble, owner of brands like Pampers, Charmin, Tide, and Cascade, now warning price hikes on those products are likely coming, even though many are made in the U.S.
There will likely be pricing. Tariffs are inherently inflationary, but we're also looking at sourcing options.
A new poll shows only 37% of Americans approve of President Trump's handling of the economy so far. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Well, I think about 95% of Central Texas approves of the recent rain we've been getting. Let's take a look right now at the weather and the traffic. Starting with KC, though, and you brought the precipitation from South Florida. We appreciate it.
Yeah, needed rain, but what comes with the rain is the socked in moisture. And when you get those kind of calmer winds overnight, that's where we see some fog development, and certainly have had some dense fog develop up and down the I-35 corridor today and out to the east. We actually have visibility of near a mile in several spots, including Taylor to Pflugerville right now out towards Giddings. So very dense fog. If you are about to hit the roads this morning right now and head out to work, just take the roads slow. It's going to take a while for this to start to mix out. I would expect within about the next couple hours, but until that time, it will be a little bit tough to see in some spots. This is the weather setup that we had. We've had the recent rain, which all that moisture in the soil helps produce some fog, along with all this humidity coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. Dew points have been way up there this morning. It's been pretty much just soup city with those winds to the southeast pooling up along this dry line, along with the cold front. So we're kind of in this pool of moisture, which has led to this foggy, cloudy start to the day. We're currently dry as we take a look at our radar, but what radar might not be picking up on is the potential to see some spotty drizzle, some mist across the area. So you may be running into a little bit of that for your morning as well before we'll start to see some showers and storms fire away again for this afternoon. A look outside, Lake Travis and Round Rock. Look at the fog, the low clouds, that ceiling very low across the area with temperatures at about 69 degrees. Again, I would anticipate the fog to start to improve here as we head towards about 9 a.m. So that'll start to lift out. Temperatures warm, sunshine returning, and that'll be enough to eventually fuel those showers and storms by this afternoon. We're likely going to keep it dry other than some drizzle, some mist across the area from some of those low clouds this morning. But by around 2 o'clock onward through about 4 or 5 o'clock, those storms and some needed rain rumbling across the area yet again. But pickup line for kids later this afternoon, the early evening commute, you could be running into some brief heavy downpours along with some lightning. So timing this out, look at how those clouds lift out as we get closer to about the noon hour. Sunshine returning, some spotty showers possible around 2 o'clock, and then we'll see a few more of those closer to about the 3, 4, 5 o'clock time frame. Not going to be a washout today. Not all of us receiving rain, but a few of us will. And the good news is we don't have any severe weather threat in place today. These should remain under severe limits. I still think we'll have the potential of maybe seeing some small hail out of these if they manage to grow tall enough, but many of us will just be looking at some regular old rain along with some lightning out of those before they eventually fade away just in time for those Friday evening plans after about 8 p.m. Now heading into the weekend, today's our last day of the more active weather pattern. By the weekend, we're going to start to see hot, high pressure build back in. That's going to lower our rain chances, mainly dry tomorrow and hot. 90 degrees returns for your forecast tomorrow afternoon, and we're even hotter on Sunday. 92 degrees is what we'll climb to as we head into the last bit of the weekend. The dry conditions, the quieter weather, it'll stick around briefly. So we've got the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, great for those outdoor plans, pool days, looking good. Monday and even Tuesday, we're still fairly quiet. It's by Wednesday, it looks like we'll start to see some additional weather, upper level disturbances move on through the area, and that will help kick off another active weather pattern with more needed rain beginning midweek next week on into the later portion of the work week. So our 7-day rainfall, it's mainly coming from the later portion of the work week. Notice those rain chances low from the weekend onward through about Tuesday, but by Wednesday and Thursday, we could be looking at some pretty hefty downpours across the area, enough to produce anywhere from a half an inch to even up to some spots of 2 inches of rain. 7-day forecast, the weekend looking good though for outdoor plans, so it will be toasty. Monday and Tuesday, we keep it mainly dry. Those changes arriving for Wednesday and Thursday, scattered showers and storms make a comeback to the area.
Thanks so much, Casey. I got to be honest with you, we got a lot going on out there. When I saw that thick fog moving in, I had a gut feeling it was going to be a doozy of a commute. And if you were just waking up, got some notes to share with you. So right now, there is a deadly crash working in the 183 southbound lanes approaching the Arboretum area. And this is still a full closure. So all of those southbound lanes on 183 still closed, and people are just squeezing by. Jordan, one of our meteorologists, just came in. He said he was able to get by on that frontage road. My dad was stuck out there as well. He was able to just get out of that. So that's a little bit promising that people aren't completely stuck for several hours. But I mean, it's still a tough one depending where you are. So you can kind of see this is once again kind of where it starts to merge into that Loop 360 area heading southbound approaching the Arboretum. And given the fact that it is deadly and it's also involving a pedestrian is what APD has been able to tell us. And we're working to get some more details on the circumstances of that. But once again, so here's where we're talking about that Arboretum area and then that full closure all the way back. And like I said, if this keeps going, I could see those backups creeping all the way up to Lakeline Mall potentially. So taking a look here, once again, anytime it is deadly like that, those crews are going to be out there investigating for several hours is what I'm anticipating, which isn't the best news to hear. But unfortunately, this is what we're working with so far this morning. So really, if you're coming in from Jollyville, Cedar Park, Leander, I just highly recommend avoiding this stretch of 183, which I know is easier said than done, but you can hop on 620 up here. You can get on SH 45 if you want and kind of work your way over. Mopac is seeing some slowdowns, but definitely this is a pretty significant crash. So really going to impact that travel as we are heading out the door. And really, that's not the only slowdown. It looks like it's a little bit better in South Austin, but we had a crash working there at Slaughter. And so I'll leave you with another live look at those conditions and really how that fog is not helping that. It's pretty thick out there. And once again, it looks like we have a little more movement on Breaker, but once again, I'm anticipating a slow moving morning for that area today out heading into the Arboretum.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate the heads up. Well, Texas, of course, keeps growing and its water supply, quite frankly, is not keeping up. Outdated systems only add to the challenge, right? And nobody knows it better than rural communities throughout Central Texas where aging infrastructure can leave people literally without water. The KVUE Defenders continue tracking our state's water supply and infrastructure challenges and whether a $1 billion state water fund that was approved back in 2023 has helped. Here's Jenny Lee.
The pipe busted.
Busted pipes are nothing new for Michelle Metcalf.
Well, right here to begin with, down here.
Evidence of the repair remains, but the water line break in March left Michelle and her Summervale neighbors without water for hours.
We have 100 lots, and right now there's 79 people that's got water.
Summervale is a small Travis County community near Oak Hill, off US 290 and RM 1826, a neighborhood where pipes break more often than they should.
Oh my goodness, we had quite a bit leaks.
Michelle remembers at least 7 in 2024, a few more in 2023, the same year her father told the KVUE Defenders.
I'd say last year we've had 15 or 20.
79-year-old Warren Lockhart is the president of the High Valley Water Supply Corporation, the water provider for Summerville. His daughter works for the nonprofit water company as well. Both say its infrastructure is so old, Warren has to keep dozens of replacement parts on hand. Repairs are frequent with a water system that's been around since the 1970s, and it's falling apart.
It's just the old pipes are just, slowly cracking.
Aging water systems are a huge problem across Texas. They cause tremendous water loss and trigger boil water notices. The most recent state data shows Austin lost a little more than 7 billion gallons of water in 2023. That's enough drinking water to fill up Lake Austin, which holds around 7 billion gallons. Larger cities lost more. But that same year,
SB 28 is my number one priority for the session.
State lawmakers passed Senate Bill 28 and Senate Joint Resolution 75. Together, the bills set aside $1 billion, in part to repair aging water systems like the one in Summerville.
Howdy. How you doing?
Travis County Commissioner Ann Howard helped the father-daughter duo apply for the Texas Water Fund. And even though
Travis County's not in the business of water supply,
Commissioner Howard got the county to approve $5,000 to help High Valley Water apply for state funding to upgrade its water system. She first visited Summerville after a fire in May of 2022 and made a surprising discovery.
And the neighbors were telling me we don't have fire hydrants. And so, then you ask, well, why not?
It turns out the water pipes in Summervale are too small to support fire hydrants. Money from the $1 billion Texas Water Fund would replace all the smaller old pipes with larger new ones, so the Summervale community can connect to Austin Water and finally get fire hydrants.
And I've now learned of other neighborhoods in the county that also might qualify as low income, and they should be following suit and making applications.
That application now in the hands of the Texas Water Development Board, the agency in charge of administering that $1 billion. Brian McMath,
I'm the executive administrator at the Texas Water Development Board,
says so far they've committed nearly $89 million for water loss projects in communities with fewer than 10,000 people. A breakdown of the Texas Water Fund shows a total of $195 million earmarked for water projects in small rural communities. The rest for projects in larger communities, public awareness, and new water supplies. And that fund is about to get more money.
The one thing that is lacking to have implemented that water plan to get it to where it needed to be today is funding.
In early April, the Texas Senate advanced Senate Bill 7, which would add a one-time $2.5 billion to the Texas Water Fund. And Senate Joint Resolution 66 and House Joint Resolution 7 would add a permanent revenue stream of $1 billion.
the fact that state leadership and the legislature is considering these type of generational investments in the water fund to help communities throughout the state for all of these various needs is remarkable.
Still, McMath and other water experts say it will take at least $154 billion over the next few decades to address long-term water infrastructure issues. Critical because by 2070, the state population is expected to increase by more than 70% to 51.5 million people, from 29.7 million in 2020, according to the Texas Water Development Board.
Oh, yeah. Be great if we did.
Meantime, Warren and his daughter wait for state approval.
We're hoping to get enough money to cover all the pipes.
So they can finally replace 800 feet of piping.
Then we'll be able to do away with these water tanks back here.
But the wait can take between a year and a half, leaving Warren wondering how many more leaks he'll have to fix.
It could be 20 and it could be 0.
For the KVUE Defenders,
so we'll just have to wait and see.
I'm Jenny Lee.
Jenny, thank you much. And staying with water concerns, this one on the West Coast, more dolphins and other marine life are turning up dead thanks to a toxic algae bloom. Here's a look at the effort to lend a hand.
Experts are sounding alarm over hundreds of marine animals dying on California's southern coast, poisoned by a toxic algae bloom.
Yes, these levels are alarming.
Researchers say they've recovered more than 50 dead or dying dolphins in Los Angeles County in the last week. 16 dead dolphins found in San Diego on Sunday alone. SeaWorld in San Diego now getting about 100 calls and emails per day for animal rescues.
It's the worst we've ever seen here in Southern California. It's unprecedented.
The toxic algae bloom produces an acid which can cause animals to become aggressive and suffer disorientation. It's 100% fatal in dolphins. Linda Cooper recently helped a sick sea lion.
She was weeping, seemed a little disoriented. She was foaming at the mouth.
There were multiple reports this year of so-called demonic sea lions attacking people in California, although it's unclear if those animals were affected by the algae bloom. Experts say algae blooms are a natural phenomenon, but debris from wildfires and fertilizer runoff can make them more toxic.
It can be fed and sort of put on steroids by the things that we're doing, like climate change, which causes warm surface waters, and acidification, and of course runoff are like steroids to these blooms. Call it climate change, call it whatever you feel comfortable calling it, as long as you believe and understand that it's happening.
This is the fourth year in a row a toxic algae bloom has impacted marine life in Southern California, but experts call this year's the worst yet. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
The Gulf Coast has been dealing with that for years. Here in Austin, though, the algae we told you about yesterday is a bit different. Last week, city councils found what appeared to be toxic algae at Redbud Isle on Lady Bird Lake. You're looking at some of the Lady Bird Lake right there. scientists say from the city that because we've seen a drought, because we've had warmer winters, this bacteria is more likely to form. Right now, they're running tests, but remember that that kind of algae can be deadly for your dog. So please be mindful if you bring your dog out to Lady Bird Lake. You know, every week on KVUE Hannah Rucker, it features a different child in Texas foster care in the hopes of helping them find a forever family, right? This week, we learned that fresh air can do a whole lot of good to boost somebody's spirit. Meet Brian.
This is fun. It's a spring morning at Miller Lake Park in Austin, Texas. And Brian, a fourth grader in Texas foster care, is happiest riding his bicycle. And I beat her. He explained why he's grown to love riding bicycles so much.
I just want to ride. It's because I could see new stuff. It's because I feel like calm.
When you're riding?
Yeah, I feel calm.
He loves feeling that wind on his face. He is such a sweet boy, and he's really hopeful he can be adopted soon.
What would make Brian happy? Like, what can we do to try to help you be happy?
I don't know. Have a family. I've been in like foster care for too long, and then yeah, I don't want to go to any other places.
You want to stay in one place?
He said a family with other children would be an added bonus so that he can have built-in friends.
It's because I could like be family with them. I could like play with them every day, and I could like go out with them. We could go to the park. We could do Hot Wheels. We could do video games and stuff.
All kinds of stuff. Brian's favorite food, by the way, is spaghetti. He likes Pokemon. He likes to be outside, as you saw there. He enjoys doing crafts with other kids in his group home. And he's been learning how to make bracelets as well. To learn more about Brian, maybe even adopt him, look for the story on our website, kvue.com/foreverfamilies. Well, this weekend, the University of Texas is celebrating fans of the football team. Tomorrow, not the spring game anymore. Nope, it's the UT Football Fan Day. It's replacing the spring orange-white game. There'll be UT merchandise for sale, a street festival, on-field experience, which is cool. I mean, how often you get it on-field at DKR, right? One of the biggest stadiums in the world. And an opportunity to get autographs from players. Pretty neat. Get on out there again. On-field is from 10 until 2. The autographs are at 12:15. Going to be a great weekend for it. That is exciting. I will leave you this morning with something to talk about. Tomorrow at Pease Park, it's time to embrace your inner Austin weird. Austin is celebrating Eeyore's 60th birthday Saturday. Expect wild costumes, drum circles, all kinds of games, live music, all to support local nonprofits. It is a truly Keep Austin Weird tradition in Pease Park, open to all ages with free shuttles as well. That's what you can kind of expect to see out there. Eeyore and just dressed to impress. Show off your inner weird. This is your pass. All right, that's it for Daybreak Plus. Let us know what you would like us to talk about. Message us at 512-459-9442. You have to text it. Calling doesn't work, but again, that's the number, 512-459-9442. You can also message me on social media at Rob Evans TV, on Instagram, on Facebook, on X. And stick around because Daybreak continues right here on KVUE Plus. Goodbye, everybody.